souvenir programs there. And underneath all those souvenir programs is my dad's autograph book. And it was held by legends, and it was signed by heroes, sports heroes and military heroes. Thanks for stopping by for a few minutes while me and my dad talk to you about a major leaguer who played for a MLB team back in the 1950s that no longer exists. Need a hint about what team I'm talking about? How about this? When he played for this team in 1950, these were some of his teammates: Snuffy Sternweiss, Cuddles Marshall, Stubby Overmeyer, Dick Kokos, and Ribs Rainey. That might help a few of you. This second hint should help even more. The player I'm talking about today would also play for this team in 1952, and his teammate that season was Satchel Paige. Big hint there. Yup, Leo Raymond Thomas, nicknamed Tommy, and he played for everybody's favorite team that no longer exists, the St. Louis Browns. This third baseman was born in California, a town called Turlock, 1923, and would make his MLB debut in 1950 with those St. Louis Browns. Standing 5'11" and weighing around 180 pounds, and was a really good minor leaguer. During his 13 seasons in pro ball, playing in over 1,700 minor league games with over 100 home runs, his major league career consisted of 95 games in the Big Show with 1 homer. 1 is better than none. Some say he went to Alameda High School, some say Concord High School. What is for sure is that Leo Thomas signed with the Brooklyn Dodgers as a free agent in 1942 at the age of 18. And Tommy, as he was called, was busy his first year in pro ball, playing with 3 teams in 3 leagues and getting in over 500 at-bats that first season. A very busy year for the teenager, but he'd be even busier for the next 3 years. Leo Thomas earned that opportunity to wear a professional baseball uniform, and for 1 season he did. But he'd have to wait 3 long years before putting one back on, because for the next 3 years he'd wear another uniform that his Uncle Sam supplied to him for free. It was a Navy uniform. Leo would put that uniform on every day for the next 3 years. 3 years? I can't imagine 8 weeks at boot camp. And at boot camp, there is no enemy trying to kill you. I can't imagine being away from everything you love for 3 years. Like American cigarettes and American beer and American girls, and not knowing if you'll make it back in one piece. Every day waiting to hear those 4 words before you lose another buddy or your mind. What 4 words? The war is over. Those 4 words. Returning from the war, Leo Thomas would bounce around the minors for a few years and get in a lot of playing time. For instance, in 1949 with the Portland Beavers, Leo had 709 at-bats and knocked out 18 homers. He was sold to the St. Louis Browns before the start of the 1950 season and would start 35 games for the club. It's at this time Leo Thomas hit his one and only big league home run off Joe Dobson at Boston's Fenway Park. Leo was then part of a trade that had him going to the Yankees organization, who put him in AAA, playing in the Pacific Coast League with the Portland Beavers, and he would play with them off and on for 3 seasons. He also spent time with Abilene Blue Sox and Spokane Indians before being reacquired by St. Louis Browns in 1952, making 34 starts at third base for the Browns. But in June, the Browns would trade him again, right at the trade deadline, to the Chicago White Sox for Cuban star Willie Miranda. At first, he was the White Sox starter at third base, but was turned into a pinch hitter for a spell before being sent down to the Seattle Rainiers in the Pacific Coast League. He played a few more seasons in the minors before retiring from ball. And in his last season, Tommy, as he was called, was player-manager of the Salinas Packers, Class C in the California League. Leo Thomas would reside in San Francisco after his playing days and would do what a few ball players would do: tend bar and tell stories. And that's what Leo did, saying, I enjoyed my years in baseball very much and also my years as a bartender. I worked at Spanger's Fish Grotto, which had many sports personalities and fans among the clientele. The two autographs I showed today are from 1955 that my dad got when Leo Thomas was a Sacramento Solon. He's listed in this filled-in scorebook with a bunch of other Solons players that I've already profiled. Not a lot of info on Leo. Didn't find any baseball cards, only photos of him on teams that he played for. But his name is there forever on those two St. Louis Browns rosters he was on. Those rosters had some great players and some great characters, none greater than the man who ran the organization, and one of my favorite sports personalities. And one of the greatest characters in MLB history, and he didn't even play. The man who had a wood leg with an ashtray carved into it. The man who wanted to integrate MLB years before they actually did. A man who persevered in life no matter what. St. Louis Browns owner, Sport Shirt Bill Veeck. Lucky for Leo Thomas, when he played in the big show, he played for the St. Louis Browns and probably had many great stories to tell his drinking clientele while tending bar. Stories about the things he saw and did and all the legendary Brown stories that were told to him. Stories that are ancient history now, but had only recently happened when Leo Thomas was there listening to those stories in the clubhouse and while out on the road. And it's always nice when one of those stories that you tell to those on the other side of the bar is about that one time you were in the big leagues and hit a home run while you were a member of one of the most infamous baseball teams and owners in MLB history, Sport Shirt Bill Veeck and his St. Louis Browns. Here's to you, Grandpa. I think of you every day.